Hey, my name is Bruce. I want to welcome you to another series of our Knowledge Basic videos. Today, we're going to be talking LED video walls. So here I have the Flybar. Now, Flybar is going to be unique and specific to whatever product that you're working with. Once again, because we're working with this rental product from Lamp, this is their Flybar. The basics are all going to be the same. All Flybars are going to have some form of eye hook so that you can hook your shackle through it and mount this. Then once you get your shackle through, you have some sort of span set or webbing or whatever in order to go up to whatever your primary rigging is. Then on your Flybar, there's going to be a mechanism to mount your panels to the Flybar, and those are these holes right here. Now, something unique about this particular product is the Flybar and the ground stack are the exact same device. So in our example today, you can see that we've got our Flybars at the bottom there, and that's because Lamp uses the same Flybar as their ground stack. So everything we're doing today is going to be upside down. This is what the Flybar looks on the bottom. Then once everything is laying flat here, then this becomes our ground stack. That's what we're going to be building off of today. And I'll give you a couple examples of how that comes together. So right here, we have a LED video panel that's been kind of broken into all of its basic parts. A couple of things I want to note. We are working with the Lamp 2.9 millimeter rental series panel today. We're going to be talking a little bit about rental panels versus installation panels. This video is not really about this particular product. It's more about video walls in general. So all video walls are going to have an aluminum frame like this, whether it's a rental panel or whether it's an installation panel. It's got LED modules like this, where you have all the pixels on a module frame. Then it's also going to have a power supply and receiving card. Rental panels typically come with PowerCon as its power connector. If it's an installation panel, it might have Molex or something else. And then they're all going to run off of Cat 6, Cat 5 as their signal. Now, because this is a rental panel, the unit comes in a hard case like this, hard aluminum case. We're just going to connect that to the back of the unit. There's a couple of little clips that is going to secure that into place. If this was an installation panel, that would typically be kind of built in there. It might actually be front serviceable if you need to do service on that unit, so it might be front serviceable. And then it's going to, if it's an installation panel, this whole part is designed to be connected to a wall, and you wouldn't be able to access the backside of it. The whole thing would be front serviceable. But because today we're dealing with a rental panel, we can access the back of it. We can also access the front of it. If you're going to be working on an LED panel, whether it's an installation or a rental panel, all of these modules are connected basically with magnets. We can go over the magnets here in a moment, the way that they connect up to the wall. And then because this is a rental panel, we can get behind it and we can wire it up. But imagine with me for a moment, this was an installation panel. You would do all your wiring from the face with your hands through the panel like this. And then once you're done wiring up your wall, then you would be putting your modules on. We'll go through a little bit later about what it looks like to wire up this specific rental panel. But let's assume for a moment that we have that all and we're ready to put our modules on. The modules connect really, really easy. Because those magnets are trying to push it into place, you can kind of hear it click there. And then that module is set. You can see we have our data ports where all of our data flows from. And we're just going to keep putting our modules in here. They're just clicking right into place for us. One thing I also want to note is the LEDs go all the way to the edge of the panel. So these particular panels are 2.9 millimeter panels, meaning that the pixels are really small. They go all the way to the edge, which is what gives us that seamless look when the whole wall is put together. You want to be really, really careful when you're working with the panels and you're putting them together that you don't crush any of those pixels. Now, on the back side of this panel, because this is a rental panel, you've actually got some safety cables. We're gonna put a safety on our power module, and then we're gonna put a safety on all of our handles for our LED panels. Once we have our safeties put on, we also have locking mechanisms. They're gonna lock those modules into place. So we wanna make sure we lock all of our modules, that they're not gonna pop loose. Now, imagine for a moment that you needed to actually service this panel. And what's kind of nice about this particular model is because we have the safety panels, if I'm going to need to service, let's say this specific module, I can, from the back, because this is a rental panel, from the back, I can undo my locks, I can push my module out nice and carefully, then I can set it down, and then I can walk to the front side of my wall and do my module swap. If this was an installation panel, it's not going to be quite the same process because it wouldn't have those leases. Instead, you have to use a vacuum release. We actually have a vacuum release here. Let me show you that. So on an installation panel, you only have access to the face. There's two basic ways that manufacturers give you access to service the face of it. One way is a vacuum device like this. Another way is that you use a more powerful magnet than the one that is holding the panel on, and that magnet will pull the panel off when you use it. We're going to show you the suction method today. We're going to turn this on, and then we're going to try to release that panel. So because that created a suction on the panel, the magnets release themselves, we get the panel off, and now we've been able to service that just from the front side of the wall. So we're going to be building this video wall. I've already got it kind of started for you because it clicks together pretty easily. As a reminder, we're doing everything upside down today. So I've got my panel here. Another thing nice about this particular product is it has corner protectors. We're going to flip our corner protectors out so that they're out of our way. In this particular product, we also need to make sure that the T-bar is opened up. Then I'm going to take that panel, I'm going to flip it upside down, and then I'm going to come over here, slide this panel into place. Then I can push this down, it's going to click, push that down, it's going to click. Right now they're in the open position. I want to move those to the lock position. And that's pretty universal to every single type of panel that you're going to experience in the rental world. I'm putting in my side pins, and then I'm locking my side pins down. That was a push and twist on this model. It might be different on other models. We've got one more panel that we're going to put on our wall today. So once again, I'm going to open up my corners. I'm going to push my T-bar out, turn this panel around, and then I'm going to lock this guy into place as well. You can see how quick and easy it all kind of comes together. Rental panels are designed for speed, being out in the field like that. So it's real nice. So now we've got our wall built, but we have to wire up our wall. I've already started wiring up the wall, putting a few of the wires in there, but we're gonna grab our cables here. Now this is a rental wall, so we've got PowerCon as our power adapters. PowerCon's nice because blue is input and gray is output, and you just color match. So I need to go out here, so I'm gonna put my gray to gray, click that into place, and then over here, I'm going blue to blue. I'm gonna click that into place. And then my data cable is EtherCon, and I've got my signal out right here. Click that into place. And I've got my signal over here. Signal is really omnidirectional, so you don't have to make sure that you've got in to out, but you do have to know where your home run is. In this particular case, my home run is coming from, I've got it off into a controller over there, but I'm going to run this home run into my first panel at the bottom. Then my wall data is flowing all the way across here. But I'm going to go from this bottom panel up a row to this row. I'm going to go ahead and hook my power cable up while I'm at it. So there's my power. I need to get power from here. Nope, I've already got my power coming all the way across, so that's good. I'm missing a data cable right here. So I'm going to plug in my data cable. And now I've got it connected. So once again, to make sure that you understand, our data is starting here and it's flowing across, it's coming up, and it's going this direction. So this makes our last one of data. Power doesn't have to follow the same path as data. In fact, power has to be calculated to make sure you don't have too many panels on one outlet. We work off 15 amps here inside of the LED video wall world. And on the back of every panel, you're going to see something that's going to tell you what its max draw is. This particular max draw is 5 amps. Because it's 5 amps, we can then do a real quick calculation to try to identify how many panels can we put on one circuit. If we're dealing with a 15 amp circuit, that would be 30 panels, but we don't want to do 30 panels because we don't want to overload the circuit. The manufacturer recommends that we only do 14 panels per circuit, which is only 7 amps. That's plenty of headroom to make sure you're not going to pop any breakers. You could go a little bit over. We have run as many as 20 panels on one circuit, but in this particular case, we only have 6, so I think we're in good shape. Now that our wall has all the power and we've got our data signal hooked up, before you hook up the controller, you can run test signals straight to your panel from the back of the panel. Pretty much all panels are going to have some sort of test button. And in this particular case, if I hold that for about 3 seconds, then I'll let go, the panel's going to pop on in red. I can go from red to green to blue to white to this is making sure that my horizontal is correct. This is making sure that my vertical is correct. This is the diagonal. And then here's a gradient. That's a really great way of teching a panel. If you need to do a little bit of service work on it and you want to find out if there's anything wrong with it, anything wrong with the colors, if they're acting weird or anything, you can just do that directly from the back of the panel through the test patterns. Later, we'll be talking about how to do those test patterns from your software controller. So over this series of videos, we have covered a lot of information, and I don't expect you to remember it all, but hopefully you've kept this library as a place to just refer to and get that information and data back. It's been really great sharing a lot of the knowledge basics about LED video walls with you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. I said, cut it. I said, cut it.